South Korean media are reporting that Liberal opposition candidate Lee Jae-myung has been elected president in Tuesday's snap election. His rival, Kim Moon-soo, from the ruling Conservative People Power Party, has conceded defeat. Speaking to supporters, Mr. Lee said he wouldn't forget the duty of a president to unite the people. He went on to say that he would find a way for South Korea to coexist with the North through dialogue and communication. The election was called after former President Yoon Suk-yeol was impeached after declaring martial law in December. I asked journalist Jen Moon in Seoul what was behind Lee Jae-myung's popularity.
Right. This election became a referendum on Yoon's power grab. Many voters were outraged by the attempt to use martial law, and they wanted a leader who would hold the line on democracy. Now, Lee Jae-myung tapped into that very anger. He promised accountability, but also stability. At the same time, he offered real policy substance, economic relief, social programs, and balanced diplomacy. So he wasn't just running against Yoon, he was offering a roadmap forward, and that's what made him so appealing across the political center.
OK, so ever since President Yoon was impeached, South Korean politics, South Korean society has been very polarized. Will Mr. Lee be able to make good on his pledge to heal divisions?
Well, it will not be easy, I can tell you that. South Korea is still in recovery mode, not just politically, but emotionally. So yes, Lee has promised national unity, but so far his message has been stronger in justice than reconciliation. So to truly heal divisions, he'll need to reach beyond his base and build a government that listens even to those who did not vote for him. And that's the real test of his leadership.
Observers have also noticed a disparity in voting intentions between genders. Just talk us through that.
Yes, it's one of the clearest patterns of this election. Many young women backed Lee and other progressive candidates. They're concerned with safety, gender equality, and childcare policy, issues they felt were ignored under previous leadership. Meanwhile, many young men leaned conservative, frustrated by military conscription and what they see as reverse discrimination in education and hiring. And this divide is not just statistical, it's cultural, and it's not going away anytime soon.
OK, so he's got problems at home, problems abroad as well. Internationally, we're all going to be watching out for how the new president handles two big challenges, US President Donald Trump and, of course, North Korea. How do you see him handling those?
Absolutely. North Korea, yes, but his top challenge is walking the tightrope between the U.S. and China. South Korea depends on the U.S. for security, but relies heavily on China economically. Lee has promised to restore balance, rebuilding ties with Beijing and North Korea while keeping the U.S. alliance strong. But, with ongoing U.S. tariffs and tensions in the region rising, that balancing act will be extremely difficult for the new president.
And how is China likely to view Mr. Lee's election?
Mr. Lee has been favorable to China more so than his conservative counterpart. So we'll have to wait and see how China reacts to this. But we expect, and experts forecast, Beijing-Seoul relations to tighten beyond this.
OK, so just talk us through then the Lee plan for dealing with Donald Trump, this tightrope that he has to walk. What does he need to do and who does he need to do it to?
Right, and dealing with the U.S. tariffs and Donald Trump will be a big challenge for Lee Jae-myung and his Democratic Party. Of course, being a liberal and coming from the Democratic Party, he has some difficulties challenging Donald Trump and dealing with the U.S. tariffs. But Lee Jae-myung has promised that he will build a team, an economic team of his own who can deal with Donald Trump and the U.S. tariffs. So we'll have to wait and see how he builds that government.
All right, good talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Journalist Jen Moon in Seoul.